Annie, guys. My name is Annie. My heart is broken. There is this man that I have fallen hopelessly in love with, but we cannot be together. I can't share the details of why because it's too private, but our current situation won't allow us to be together. I love him so deeply that it affects my physical body. When we don't talk, it throws my whole system into trouble. Wow. My hormones go into panic mode, and sometimes it even affects my cycle. It's really bad. When we are together, I feel like the world is just perfect. But then he has to leave, and reality hits me that we cannot have this. I have contemplated just saying fuck it and let whatever wants to happen happen. Because sometimes it feels like I cannot breathe right when I think of us not ending up together. But I know that it would negatively affect him and his career if I take matters into my own hands and tell people we're dating. So I'm just here. I want to move on, but how do you move on from someone who could possibly be, oh God, oh dear. How can you move on from someone who could possibly be the greatest love of your life? They say if you love something, let it go and it will come back to you. But I don't believe that shit because something can happen in the time that you let it go. Then what now happens to you? I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to take that risk. I am suffering every day, holding on to the secret and the hope that we will one day be able to be together officially. I don't want to let him go because I don't think I can survive the pain. I am what most people would call a hard babe, so I don't cry easily. But this rubbish has made me cry like a baby. And I hate it. Nothing makes me cry. And I don't want him to think I'm unstable. And I don't want him to think I'm unstable and silly. I'm not a baby. But I don't know why I can't stop crying. If I'm falling apart like this when we are still trying to have the little that we have, what will happen when I leave totally? I can't imagine it. I don't want to imagine it. And I don't know what to do. Let's get into today's episode.
Does she like me? Was that a date or a hang? Is she single? Wait, what are we? Is it too soon to say I love you? Should I call him now or should I just wait? Maybe I should wait. Wait, should I let her go? Why did he just ghost me like that? Wait, can't we work it out? Is he an F-boy? Is she toxic? We hooked up. Why is he saying we're just friends? Let's face it. Relationships are the best thing when they work and a nightmare when they flop. You're recklessly giddy when Cupid's arrow sticks you in the ass and a nervous, pain-filled wreck when he comes to take his love away. There's hardly anyone who cannot relate to the dizzying highs and debilitating lows of relationships. We are naturally wired for connection, so when that's messed with, it can make us feel crazy. Enter BamBAEzled. On this show, we help you figure out if you are being bamboozled by your bae. That's it. Nothing else, nothing fancy, just a real, raw, honest to heavens, and hopefully helpful take on the best to the worst of relationships and everything on the spectrum in between. No topic is off limits, no situation is too taboo or embarrassing. Give us everything. So, if you're wondering if you're being bamboozled by your bae, don't walk, run here. This is your new home. I am your new bestie, and I've got you. Now, let's figure out if you're being BamBAEzled.
Wow. Um, wow. Um, you know, uh, so this show is not, about me talking and sharing my thoughts and opinions only. Um, it's I'm trying to, I don't know, I guess help people, um, and hopefully help people have relationships that they enjoy and that are fulfilling, and just hopefully helping us get better with each other and with ourselves within relationships. And I think this is one of the episodes where I I wish I had like a co-host or someone, some other energy to bounce this off, because wow, you don't want to give people the wrong advice. And again, it's advice nobody has to, you don't have to do anything I'm talking about here. You know, I'm just a girl talking into a camera, but I honestly wish that there was, to for this particular episode, some other perspective. Um, but I'm gonna try uh, my best, and let's see where we land. Whenever I get a letter from that's a bit difficult, or where the person is going through pain or something like that, um, I say sorry first, because I honestly believe that we all need a soft landing. Excuse me if my voice is a bit froggy. I'm tired. I've had a bit of a stressful week, a bit of a stressful time actually, and so I'm a bit tired uh, today. But we have to do, we have to do our work. So I'm here, and I don't know if I'm going to be really high energy today, but we're going to get through the episode. So sorry, I you haven't said anything more than what I've read, and that's your complete right, to disclose, to disclose what you want and to keep private what you want. I guess I'm just wondering what sort of situation would prohibit you and the person you love from being together. If it is a situation where he was like a clergyman or a man of the cloth, I guess that would be the only thing I can think of, career wise or work wise, that would prohibit a man from being married. But and or if this person is otherwise engaged, meaning this man is in a relationship, in a marriage of his own. I'm not here to stand as judge over anyone. I have no rights to do that, and I won't do it. But I would say that there's a part of this letter that I can only answer if I understand, have that context. And because I don't have that context, we're not going to go to the part of, you know, um, we're not going to go too deeply into how you can deal with this situation. What I will, however, speak about is the latter part of your letter. That's where you focused a lot on the emotions that you're feeling and how raw these emotions are, how raw, emotionally raw you are, and how you are not used to that. And it's freaking you out, and you're worried that he's going to, think that you're silly and unhinged and unstable. So let's start there. And if along the way anything comes up with regards to the situation itself, I'll say it. But let's just start with that. Um, a lot of us are so averse to our tears. We treat our tears like they are like um like they are a sign of weakness. It's almost like our tears are assaulting us. Um we don't want to cry. We don't want people to see us crying. We're afraid of being labeled as weak or a baby, to put it in your words, unstable. Um, we would do anything to avoid our own tears. We are scared of our tears. We are afraid to cry or afraid to be seen as crying. We don't want to be labeled weak. And I think the reason that people think that they are weak because people think they're weak when they cry is because of the messaging that we have received. The messaging we receive as kids, the messaging we receive from the society. We've been told in different but definite ways that crying makes us weak, it makes us small, it makes us appear like we're damaged, like we're less than, it makes us vulnerable, and vulnerability is a weakness. We have all of that sort of messaging that we have to, that we've sort of grown up with, depending on the home you come from or the environment that you come from. That falsehood has been so deeply embedded into our psyches that we you notice, like, when you're about to get emotional or you're about to cry, the first thing you do is try to stop it, or you apologize for, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I'm crying, or I'm so sorry for crying. If the tears have fallen, the first thing that comes out of your mouth after that is an apology. Meanwhile, an apology is something that you do when you're wrong. This is something that you offer or give when you're wrong, when you've done something wrong, or when a situation is bad or sad or negative. You never say I'm sorry for something positive. And so it tells you how we have been conditioned to see our how we see our emotions. We engage all our willpower to make sure that the tears don't fall, like the tears don't come out. Let people not see me crying. There are people who run away. If they know that they can't control the tears, they run to a private place and cry. Make sure every trace of them crying has been wiped away before they come back into the space where other people are. There are two reasons that we are so averse to our own tears. And the first one we just spoke about, in terms of like conditioning from our childhood or from whatever environment you lived in, from the society you live in, where you're not encouraged to cry, when you're called things like a baby for crying, and all of that. That's the first reason. The second reason, and this will apply to you if, maybe you've come from an emotionally open home. So it's safe for you to express your emotions. So you're not struggling with emotional expression per se. But another reason why and if this happens to be your situation, it is very possible that we are afraid. We are afraid of the pain that we feel that brings us to that state, or brings us into that state of being. So our refusal to cry, or our annoyance at our crying, our distracting ourselves from our tears, our drinking instead of crying, our binging on sex instead of crying, our binging on entertainment instead of crying, are binging on spending instead of crying. All of those things that we do instead of actually just having a good cry is, it's us running away from pain. We're running away from the pain that we have to feel. Now, the reason that we are afraid of the pain is we were never allowed to touch that pain when we were younger. And so it has become such an unknown. And remember, we are all afraid of the unknown. The thing that you don't know scares the living shit out of you because you don't know what to expect. You don't know how good or how bad it's going to be or it's going to turn out. So, a fear of the unknown is a very legitimate fear. Now, if the fear of the unknown is a legitimate fear and your pain is unknown to you, then do you see how you have a legitimate fear of your own pain? So we were never allowed to touch it when we were younger. And I'll explain the ways that we weren't allowed to touch our pain when we were younger. And so it has become so unknown and so mysterious and so monstrous in our minds that we are certain it will take us under if we ever try to engage with it. So what do we do instead? We run away from it and tell ourselves that we are strong. We tell ourselves that we're resilient. We tell ourselves that we are mature. We tell ourselves that we are stable. We tell ourselves that we have self-control because we haven't cried. But the not crying is an extension of running away. And running away is the exact opposite to all those things that I just listed. So I said just now that I was going to tell you some of the ways that we weren't allowed to touch our pain, either as kids or as young adults or some point in time in our life. Let me give you an example. If you grew up in an environment where, and we're going to talk about this a lot, because the truth of the matter is every adult was once a child. Every adult was once a child. And this is the reason why I like to focus a lot on, how children are raised and how children are reared. It's because you have a better chance at making a stable adult from how you treat that adult when they're a child than trying to correct an unstable adult when they have solidified in their way of being, Worse so if that way of being is bad. Worse off if it is destructive, So we have a lot of facilities and systems in place to correct, correctional facilities to correct bad behavior in adults. But that's not the time to correct their behavior. The time to do it is when their minds are still being molded, still being formed. So one of the ways that you are not one of the ways that you are not allowed to see or touch your pain. I'll give you an instance. Let's say you had, you lost a parent when you were younger, when you were at a young age. Now, depending on how emotionally available the other parent was, depending on how emotionally safe they were, depending on the kind of person they were, you would either have been able to talk about your late parent, they would talk with you. They would try to come into the experience of the loss with you. Or if they were not so emotionally mature, also because they're dealing with pain themselves, they would run away from your emotional experience at that time. And so you would have a situation where, for instance, let's say the father has died. You would have things like the mom not talking about him. You would have things like your mom just being super strong and acting like we have to move on with life because, he's gone, there's nothing we can do about it. And vice versa. You would have the dad, he wouldn't gather his children and talk about their mother with them. He would try to avoid the situation because they are also trying to avoid the pain of losing the person that they love. And in, living in that pain and unable to access their emotions, they are not able to access the emotions of their children. So they do to their children or with their children's emotions what they are doing with their own, running away from them. They make you run away from your emotions, and they run away from your emotions. That's one of the ways that you learn not to touch your pain. Because children learn from the adults around them. Children do not learn from any other space. The brain is a mechanism that takes information from, one of the ways it takes information is mirroring. So you watch and you observe, and if you watch something over and over again, you learn that thing. Your brain picks it up as information and stores it as, a method or a way of doing things. So if you are in a situation where in the midst of pain, or when pain comes onto the scene, everybody just disappears until we all gather again and act like nothing happened, then that is a way that you learn not to touch your pain. Then you learn, or your brain learns, when pain comes in, we check out. Another way that you were not allowed to touch your pain, and this is a little bit, this is something that you probably wouldn't expect because it looks good. Okay, so a kid is crying, a kid maybe, has gone through an experience and it has hurt them. Now they come back to mommy, come back to daddy. And instead of mommy and daddy saying, okay, I want to know how you are feeling, I want to understand what you are feeling in this experience, mommy just says, oh, come and take chocolate, come and take sweet, oh, sorry. Oh, baby, don't cry, it's okay. The child has not actually expressed what they are feeling. And you interrupting that process does not allow their brain the ability to develop the skill of seeing their emotion from the beginning to the end of it. It's always interrupted. It's interrupted by you just swooping in and saying, oh, let me comfort you. I'm comforting you because your discomfort makes me uncomfortable. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. So I need to quickly deal with that as quickly as possible. A lot of us do it and we think that is, like good parenting. Where, I'm not a parent, but what I've learned is that children, just like adults, want to be heard. They want to be understood. They don't want you to just hear the words coming out of their mouth. They want you to understand their thought, their reasoning behind the words coming out of their mouth. Even if you do not agree, they want to know that, does mommy understand why I'm thinking this way? Does daddy understand why I'm feeling this way? And isn't that how we feel as adults? You and your partner are having this never-ending fight. And what is it about? I need to know that you understand how I am feeling about this thing that I'm saying. Not just that you can understand the English that I'm saying. And so your partner who is emotionally unavailable is looking at you like, but I heard you now, but I heard you. But you are dissatisfied because they heard you. They heard you, but they didn't listen to you. Okay. So those are examples of ways that we learn not to touch our pain. When pain comes onto the scene, everybody disappears. The adults in the room disappear. So the children in the room learn to disappear. When you are feeling something that is not a positive emotion, you are overcomforted or you are rushed through it. It's like, don't cry, come on, it's okay. It's like whatever we can do to get you to stop expressing in this negative way. Because when somebody swoops in and they look like they're panicking, instead of a calm, okay, I see that you're upset. I understand that you are crying. I want to know why. And I want to understand what it is about this situation that is making you feel this particular way. And, after that, we'll see if there's anything mommy can do to help you deal with it. And if there isn't, mommy is happy to sit here with you and she's happy to sit in this space with you until you are able to work through your feelings, organically by yourself. You don't have to rush because of mommy. You don't have to pretend to be happy because You think mommy is going to be impatient? I will be here with you. If you want to cry, cry. I will hold you. But I won't tell you not to cry. And I won't tell you, oh, it's okay now. It's okay. No. So when we felt pain, its natural process of moving through us so it could get out of us was circumvented. Whenever you are told, don't cry, it's okay now. Why are you crying? What's the problem? Don't be a crybaby. That's not enough to make you cry. Are you still crying? If you cry, I'll give you a reason to cry. Oh, I've not even beaten you, you are crying. When all of those kinds of things, or when you start crying, your parent has this look of contempt on their face, or they get irritated and they walk out of the room, or they ask you to go to your room until you can put yourself together and then come back. Like you are being punished for feeling and expressing that feeling in the organic way that it comes to you. So the pain that you felt as a kid, as a young adult, it started its journey. And that's the thing about emotions. We feel like emotions are just for people who are afraid of their emotions. Like emotions are like this um 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 like like a soda pop, like mineral. Okay, so soda is closed and sealed shut in that bottle, and you know you shake, if you shake it, 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 and you unscrew the cap, you're going to have a that's kind of what happens with people who hold their emotions in. One day, the pressure inside that thing is going to have to find release. You are going to have to find release. And it will come out one way or the other. And unfortunately, most times it comes out in the most inconvenient ways and causes so much more damage than would have happened, if any damage would have happened at all, if you felt and expressed your emotion when you were feeling it in a healthy way. The pain that you felt all that time ago in your past when you were a child started its journey inside of you, but never got a chance to complete it and exit. So, believe it or not, you can be 30 something years old, 40 something years old, 50 something years old, 70 something years old. That pain is still inside you. It's still inside you because it never exited the building. And that pain has been, like how you have like a small wound that isn't treated? It has just been widening and festering and festering and festering and festering. And so on the inside of you, I don't like to use this example, but it has spread like a cancer. And so everywhere inside you is that pain that you didn't feel and you didn't let go through you and exit out of you. And so when people touch you, even in a place that's not supposed to hurt, it will hurt. And you will react to that pain. That's what it looks like when people lose their shit over the smallest, most insignificant things. That's what it looks like when a person can't forgive. That's what it looks like when a person is just cantankerous and, oh God, there's just no peace inside them. They can't bring peace wherever they are because inside of them is war. So that pain is still inside you. And there is a backup of pain so clogged, it's like a highway. Think about like a freeway or a highway with backed up traffic. All you can see is cars bumper to bumper for miles and miles. What happens when a new pain comes or when a new car comes? The car joins the traffic jam. There's no special car that will pass through that traffic jam. Lie. So a few things happen in your life, right? So when somebody is like on a scooter and they can sort of like weave through the traffic, so you can sort of weave through some of the emotions and some of your mental states. But on the whole, it is not a free flowing area because it is clogged with pain upon pain upon pain upon pain that you were never allowed to process. Because every time one pain came, it's stuck there because someone stopped you from feeling it. Someone shamed you when you attempted to feel it. Someone dismissed you or devalued you or diminished you because you were feeling and expressing your pain. And you learned that, listen, it's easier to hide this than express it. And now you've become an expert at parking cars on the road instead of driving your car through the freeway. So it's still inside you. And there is now a backup of pain that is so clogged that you cannot even know now how to try to figure it out. You don't know how. You never learned the skill of processing pain. You never learned the skill of feeling pain, of pain not being stronger than you. Think about the things that we are most scared of. Honestly, it is more scary the more mysterious it is. Because you haven't had a chance to interact with it and know its own weak points or anything like that. So the thing that you don't know of is actually more scary than the thing that you know. And because you do not know your pain and you do not know the extent that you will go in your pain, you are afraid of going there. So you don't know how to feel it and you don't know how to process it. The people who aren't afraid of their pain don't go through less pain than others, right? It's not like as if they don't feel less pain or more things don't happen to them. It's just that, they don't go through less pain than others, but they do live with less pain than others because they let that pain begin its journey from wherever it starts, and they allow it to make its way through them and then out of them. So the pain is not sitting down there and building a mansion inside of them. They're not afraid to cry. They're not afraid to express. They're not afraid to be hurt. They're not afraid to say when they're hurt. They don't try to cover. Instead of saying I'm hurt, they say I'm angry, I'm pissed off. No, I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. But, I'm sure I'm going to figure it out. I hope I will figure it out. I don't know how, but I hope I will. They are in touch with their vulnerability. And because they understand that vulnerability is actually a strength, they are strong enough to battle pain. Pain doesn't conquer them, it doesn't defeat them. And I know this for a fact because some of the most painful things that you think you cannot survive, things that you think, listen, if this happens, I'm done. I won't survive it. I won't make it. And I'm saying this to the part of your letter where you said, if you cannot be with this man, you will not survive it. Sweetheart, believe me, there was someone in my life that I thought if I lose this person, I told God, I said, take me with them, because I won't survive it. And the person passed on. And does it hurt? Like hell. Still, there are days when all I do is cry because she's not here. But I'll tell you this, I'm here. I'm doing a new show. I'm trying to live my life. And I'm not afraid of pain because the most painful thing that I thought could ever happen happened. And you're still here. So sometimes that thing that we are running from hand and foot because we think it's too painful and we will not survive it, you can survive anything. I'm telling you, just take it from me. You can survive anything. I didn't say you will survive unscathed, because believe me, the scar is huge. The scar of this person's loss is, I can't I can't explain it with words. So I'm not saying you will survive unscathed, but I am saying that you will survive. I can tell you for free. Thank you all so much for coming to spend this time here with me. Pain is not always the villain. Our bodies were created so well that they can handle the pain even when it comes like a flood. We were created and designed so well that we can handle pain. As long as we equip ourselves to process that pain properly, we will be all right. I hope these thoughts have been somewhat helpful for you. And if they have, I ask that you please share them with anyone who you think might need it. And come back to this video whenever you feel like you need some encouragement. It's here for you. I'm here for you in this way. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. If you have a story that you would like to share, please write us at BamBAEzled@gmail.com. BamBAEzled is spelled BamBAEzled. But by now, I'm sure you guys already know that. Send in your stories and we'll happily take a look at them and work on them for these episodes. Your stories are helping people. They are, I promise you. I will one day be able to share like DMs and things like that when I have the permission to do so, but they are helping people. So keep them coming. I have to say that BamBAEzled is not, this show is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please, if you need to talk to a therapist or you need to get mental health advice, please speak to your healthcare practitioner. On this show, we have discussions, I share my opinions, and I listen to yours, and we exchange that energy in a bid to help one another grow and learn from our experiences. That's it, all right? So please, this show is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice. Please do not treat it as such, all right? You know what time it is? Sign off with me. In life, we can always do better or we can do worse. Let us try to find ourselves in the former more than we are in the latter. Stay safe out there in these relationship streets. Make sure that you are not bamboozling or being bamboozled by Bae. I will see you again in the next episode. Until then, please let love guide you always. Bye for now.